BeachBabyBob makes strawberry glazed pie.
It's near maybe the 20th of June, the 19th of June. This is strawberry season in southern Ontario, Canada. And I was strawberry picking this afternoon. So I got the strawberries, I left the hull, like the green stem part on them, and I washed them. And then I took the green part off, cut them up, put them in a bowl, and added a little sugar, and that's them. Now I'm making a pie crust because I'm making strawberry pie. So I took a bowl here, I put in some flour, 1.5 cups. I put in a little bit of salt, a couple of shakes of salt. I put in a tablespoon of sugar, and I put in 1/2 cup of oil and 2 tablespoons of cold milk. I'm going to mix it all together. And I didn't want to work it too much when I was mixing it. So it only took me a few seconds to mix it up. Some people like to take the pastry and put it in the fridge and let it cool down before they roll it out. But I'm not even going to roll it. I'm going to take it, plop it into this pie plate. I never buttered the pie plate. I never did anything to it except it's clean. I'm going to plunk that in there and I'm going to push it around. There, finished. That was pretty easy. No more rolling anything out and waiting till the pastry gets cool in the fridge. That's just too much work. And this pastry is to die for. It's just as long as you don't work it to death when you mix it up. Just mix it, put it in the plate and push it around and it'll be great. So just so you remember, I used 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, not cake and pastry flour, just ordinary all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups. Then I put in a tablespoon of sugar, maybe a little more, and a little bit of salt, and 1/2 cup of oil. Just vegetable oil will do, but if you want to be a little bit healthy, you might want to use canola oil or grapeseed oil. So 1/2 cup of oil, and then 2 tablespoons of cold milk. That's not much, and I didn't even measure that. And I just put it in there and I mixed it all up and pushed it in the pie plate. So now I'm going to turn my oven on to about, here's my oven there, my convection oven. I'm going to turn it on to about 400 degrees. And when it's warm, then I'm going to put the pie crust in and cook it for maybe 10 minutes, like you were cooking a cookie, till it gets brown. You'll know, don't overcook it there. And bring it out and let it cool. And then in the meantime, I'm going to do my strawberries. While my pie crust is cooking, and it only takes about 10 minutes, I washed the quart of strawberries, maybe a little more, and I took the green stem off, and I cut some of them up, and some of them were kind of ripe, so they mashed up themselves a little bit, sort of fell apart, and that's okay. I can mash them up with a potato masher, or I can just leave them the way they are. And I put them in my pot here, and then I'm going to take 3/4 cup of water and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, which is this white stuff that thickens things up. So I'm going to mix the cornstarch with the water, and then I'm going to mix that with the strawberries. Then I'm going to turn on the strawberries to medium heat, and I'm going to cook them while I stir it. And I'm going to watch very closely. Maybe it'll take 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And when it gets really, really thick, I'm going to shut it off and let it cool a little bit. When the pie crust is out of the oven and cold, I'm going to dump the strawberries into the pie crust. Not too hard, eh? And then I'm going to put the strawberry pie in the fridge and leave it in there for a few hours. When I'm ready to eat it, I'm going to get some whipping cream at the store. I'm going to make the whipping cream, which is very simple. You just add a little bit of sugar and vanilla, and then you beat it up until it gets soft peaks. And then you put that on top of the pie, and you will be in heaven. Everybody that's made this loves it. So I'll just work at the strawberries here on the stove, and I'll show you what that looks like. Mix up the cornstarch in the water. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and 3/4 cup of water. There, pretty good. Dump that in with the strawberries and stir it around. Remember, you can squish these strawberries up with a potato masher or cut them up with a knife or leave some whole and some squished. I might squish a few of them. With my potato masher, and then I'm going to cook it on the stove and stir it the whole time and watch it get thick. So the strawberries are heating up here and I'm stirring away, and I'll get back to you when it's thick, okay, because it's kind of boring, but I don't leave it. It's on medium heat. I don't leave it and go and watch TV and find out what Trump's doing. No, I don't do that. I watch the strawberries because they're going to get thick very quickly. Oh, about 1/4 strawberries mashed up. Of course, I've mixed some sugar with the strawberries, about 1 cup of sugar. Maybe you might not need that much, depending on whether the strawberries are really sweet or whether they're not. And I notice that it's thickening up quite quickly here. So it's strawberries and sugar, it's cornstarch and water, a little bit of vanilla for some flavoring. Don't have to add that. And I'm just cooking away and stirring away here. I already see it's turning into kind of like a jam. Couple of minutes, that should be it. So as soon as it's done, I'm going to let it cool for a sec. Check on the crust, the pie crust. There's the pie crust. A little bit of brown along the edges. Feels very soft, warm. It has to sit and get cold, or at least cool. And over here, strawberries. This is what it looks like when it's thick. Thickened up perfectly, and they're waiting until they cool down a little bit. Then I'm going to dump the strawberries into the pie crust, and that goes in the fridge. Keep them in there for 2-3 hours, the pie, and then get the whipped cream. Here's the strawberry glazed pie. I promised you. So now everything's sort of cooling down. It's going in the fridge for a few hours. The whipped cream goes on top. It's actually the next day now, and it's time to whip up the cream and put it on top of the pie, and then cut a big piece and see what it tastes like. So I just bought a small little box of whipping cream, 35% fat, right? Whipping cream, and I put it in the bowl, and I put some sugar. You can use ordinary sugar, a little bit of icing sugar in there, and a little bit of vanilla, a couple of drops of that, and I'm going to beat it up with this hand mixer here until it's thick. And you'll know it's thick because you'll go like this, and it'll make mountain peaks. And then it's ready to put on top of the pie. Now I'm going to cut it and taste it. Okay, Sue, what do you think? This is the pie. It doesn't look like you know, those fancy dancy restaurant pies, but it's all about taste.
Well, taste-wise, it's a 10.
What about the strawberries? Can you taste them?
Well, the crust is nice.
The crust is okay?
The crust is lovely. It's just the right thickness, and it's very tender.
Can you find the strawberries? There's so much whipped cream on there. Mm-hmm. So I'm BeachBabyBob, as you know, and I made this strawberry pie because my mother-in-law, who's long gone, used to make this pie, and if hers was even better. It was my favorite. Well, the ice cream pie is pretty good, but this is really good, especially in strawberry season. The crust is good. Of course, the whipped cream is always good. And the strawberry glaze on the inside is holding together well. And it's not too sweet, and it's perfect. Good luck. Leave a comment. Especially go and try to make it, and then come back and leave a comment.